Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video like up. In the world of the young and the restless, power struggles are never just about business, they're personal, emotional, and packed with secrets. The latest battlefield? The intensifying clash between the Newman Empire and the unexpected force of Cain Ashby. But while Victor, Adam, and Victoria fight overtly to protect the Newman legacy, a storm may be brewing quietly under Nick Newman's polished surface. Could Nick be hiding a game-changing secret? A secret that might not just tilt the scales, but flip the whole board? Let's dive into this twist-filled saga with an exclusive 3,000-word creative exploration of what might be happening behind Nick's poker face, and how it could affect everyone from Victoria to Victor, from Adam to Sharon, and even the unlikely wild card, Cain Ashby himself. Nick Newman has always walked a fine line between loyalty to his family and forging his own path. For years, viewers have watched him clash with Victor, only to come back home when the stakes got too high. But this time, things feel different. There's a weariness to Nick, an edge of calculation rarely seen in the once fiery, impulsive son of Victor Newman. So what's changed? Some fans speculate that Nick has unearthed something from the past. Perhaps an old Newman Enterprises transaction, buried during the time of the Clear Springs cover-up, or maybe something even older, like a long-lost contract signed during the Chancellor Newman merger talks that Cain's late mother, Genevieve, had access to. If Nick has proof that a part of Newman's assets legally belong to the Chancellor's, or worse, if Newman stole that portion through legal trickery, it could explain Cain's sudden confidence and calculated rise. But why wouldn't Nick say something? The answer may lie in Nick's core conflict, his hatred of his father's ruthless tactics versus his desire to protect the family name. He might be waiting, calculating, choosing the precise moment to reveal the truth, not for revenge, but to force Victor and Adam to finally change the way they do business. Or is it something even darker? Meanwhile, Nick's growing distance from Sharon hasn't gone unnoticed. Their relationship has always been intense, marked by periods of passion, betrayal, and shared grief. But lately, Nick's gaze lingers just a second too long when the subject of Victor comes up. He's guarded, distracted, and evasive. Sharon, never one to ignore her instincts, begins to suspect that Nick is not being honest, not just about business, but about something deeply personal. Could Nick have discovered something about Christians' paternity again? Could there be a new secret about Adam, or even faith, that he's hiding? This hidden truth, whatever it is clearly weighing on Nick, and Sharon begins to probe gently. But Nick shuts down the conversation every time. "Trust me," he says. But Sharon isn't sure she can. Not this time. Let's talk about Cain Ashby. For years, he was Genoa City's charming underdog, never quite a Newman, never quite a Chancellor. But in recent months, Cain has returned from the shadows with a fierce purpose and a mysterious financial backing. Where is he getting the money to buy up subsidiaries once controlled by Newman Enterprises? The real bombshell: what if Cain's resurgence has been powered by Nick himself? It's not that far-fetched. Nick and Cain have always shared a grudging respect. And if Nick truly believes that Victor's vision of legacy is outdated and corrupt, who better to support than someone who can rival Victor from outside the family? Some fans theorize that Nick and Cain made a backdoor deal months ago. Cain would publicly challenge Newman Enterprises, drawing Victor and Adam into a war. Meanwhile, Nick would stay inside the Newman circle, feeding information and manipulating outcomes from within. In other words, Nick is the mole, the chess master behind the scenes. But here's the problem: if this is true, Nick is playing a dangerous game. One that could destroy not just the Newman legacy, but every relationship he holds dear. Victoria has always had the sharpest instincts in the room, and lately, she's watching Nick closely. She notices when he skips family meetings. She catches him in quiet conversations with Nate, who's suddenly acting more reserved than usual. She hears whispers from employees that Nick has been asking questions about old Newman Chancellor contracts. Victoria decides to confront Nick directly. She corners him after a board meeting and demands answers. Are you helping Kane? She asks bluntly, and Nick gives her the same smirk he gave their father for years. You're paranoid, Vic. But her instincts scream otherwise. She begins her own investigation, hiring private security to track Nick's movements, and what she discovers sends shockwaves through her. Nick met with Jill Abbott 3 weeks ago. Privately. Without any record of the meeting. Jill, of course, still holds major influence in Chancellor Winters, and her allegiance has always been shaky, yet Victoria's heart sinks. If Nick is working with Jill and Kane, then the entire Newman structure is compromised. Adam Newman isn't stupid. He knows Nick hates him. And while they've reached temporary ceasefires in the past, there's no mistaking the tension now. Adam has started to dig deeper into Nick's recent activities, and he finds something, an encrypted trail of communications through a shell company recently purchased by someone using Nick's trust. The trail leads to a quiet real estate holding firm in Chicago, one Kane recently acquired. Adam confronts Nick in his usual icy way. You really thought you could outmaneuver me, brother? Nick shrugs. I don't know what you're talking about, Adam. But Adam does know. He just hasn't figured out the why yet. Does Nick want to destroy Newman? Or is this about something else? That's when Adam remembers a document he once found in Victor's personal vault, the document naming an heir to a forgotten Newman subsidiary. An heir with a last name that didn't belong to the Newman family. A name, Ashby. Could it be that Victor once gave away a piece of Newman to Genevieve or Philip Chancellor as part of a deal? Did Nick discover this and decide to restore the balance by helping Kane? It would explain everything, and it would mean Victor isn't just fighting for the company, he's fighting to keep a decades-old mistake buried. Victor Newman senses a storm coming. He's felt it for weeks, the unease in his children, the quiet maneuvering in the press, the subtle shift in shareholder support. He calls a family meeting, demanding answers, but Nick doesn't show up. That's when Victor makes a move he's avoided for years. He digs into Nick's private finances. What he finds is startling: trusts emptied, holdings transferred, a silent partnership in one of the companies Kane used to acquire Newman's pharmaceutical division. Victor is livid. He orders a press release, denouncing Kane, Ashby, and threatening legal retaliation. But Nick counters with his own announcement. He's resigning from all executive duties at Newman, effective immediately, and then he says this: there's more than one way to protect a legacy. Sometimes, you have to tear it down to rebuild it right. Victor is speechless. Act 7, the bombshell. The final twist comes not from Nick, but from Sharon. She uncovers a recording, an audio file sent anonymously to her phone. In it, a much younger Victor is heard offering Chancellor Industries access to Newman's research in exchange for political favors. The deal was never reported, never filed. But it's clear, part of Newman's empire was built on a backdoor bribe. Sharon plays the file for Nick. He's quiet. He knew. That's what I've been sitting on, he says. That's what Kane has. He's not just making a play for power, he's exposing the truth. Sharon asks him the question everyone's wondering: so what happens now? Act 8, fallout. And for war, Nick's secret alliance is no longer a secret. The media goes wild with news of the scandal. Chancellor's stock surges. Newman's plunges. Victor holds a press conference, trying to spin the truth, but the damage is done. Victoria confronts Nick, devastated. You didn't just betray Dad. You betrayed me. Nick answers, I did it for all of us. But no one believes that anymore. Kane, for his part, plays the role of reluctant hero. He issues a statement calling for business transparency and promises to use his influence for good. But is he truly the righteous underdog, or just another player in the game? Nick, meanwhile, disappears from the spotlight. Some say he's left Genoa City. Others say he's working behind the scenes to start a new company, one rooted in integrity. Something Victor could never understand, whatever happens next. One thing is clear: the war between Newman and Kane has changed forever, and Nick Newman, long underestimated and often dismissed, might just be the most dangerous Newman of all, not because he's ruthless like Adam or commanding like Victor, but because he's quietly rewriting the rules of the game. Could this be the moment the young and the restless fans talk about for years? The moment when Nick Newman, the moral compass of a fractured empire, becomes the architect of a new future, or its final destroyer. One thing's for sure, secrets don't stay buried in Genoa City. And in a war where every move is personal, Nick's hidden card could be the ace, or the trigger that blows everything sky high.